So I'm Natalie Gardner, and we are the Green Sentinels. There's 4 of us in a team. My brother James Gardner, the team leader is Ben Spurway, and then we have Ben Hill, who's one of our friends from the military. So the Patagonian Expedition Race it's kind of the pinnacle of adventure racing. So you're in the wild Chilean Patagonia. It's about 600 miles over 10 days, mostly trekking with your pack. There's some sea kayaking, mountain biking, river crossings, a bit of rope work, a bit of ascending and traversing, and ultimately it's an expedition with minimal map usage to get to certain checkpoints along the way and get yourself to the finish line along with your team.
So we found ourselves at Lake Windermere in the Lake Districts, just conducting some low-level training. Over the last couple of days we've done some hiking. We went up to Helvellyn and did some low-level training there, especially working on navigation, which is going to be key on the expedition. Also working on some skills, working in the snow, getting used to some of the new equipment that we've been using. So we've been working on our kayaking. We've managed to get on the waters today, practicing some capsize drills and just some teamwork in the boats.
Well, we've been massively overwhelmed by the amount of support we've had, considering this is our first Patagonian expedition race. So on the trekking phase, the first thing is Paramo, giving us a huge amount of support by supplying us the Paramo Velas smocks and the Velas trousers, as well as importantly underwear, which after 10 days is going to be quite important. We've been trying that out on the hill the last couple of days, and that's really stood up to the conditions we've thrown at it. Next, 6 Move Designs have given us the backpack system. They produce lightweight ultra marathon bags, and they've again been really good to carry the kit that we'll be taking with us. On the nutrition front, we have 10 meals and High Five, and that provides us with a really comprehensive nutritional plan. Moving on to the kayaking section, friends of mine down at Sea Kayaking Cornwall, who specialise in expedition kayaking, have given us a lot of support, guidance, advice on the kind of equipment we're going to need. They've lent us kayaks for training, which is what we're doing out here today. Celtic Paddles have been really generous and supplied us with carbon composite paddles and also our split safety paddles as well. And we're working with Low Mode Dry Suits, who supplied us dry suits and buoyancy aids for the race. Going on to mountain bikes, the final section, Colin at Comrie Croft Mountain Bikes, a friend of my brother's up in Scotland, has been it's just fantastic in being so patient with us as we worked out what kind of bikes we need for the race, and is supplying us bikes for this race but also onto the future trips we have lined up.
Considering I am the youngest, I don't have as much experience as everyone else, but from what I've done with the team, I do think that because our aim is to accomplish and complete the race, not to win it, I think we should be able to achieve our goal. I think the main struggles is the fact that we're going into uncharted territory. That's going to be our biggest struggle. I think it's going to be a one-in-a-lifetime sort of experience. I'm never going to be able to experience this again, but it's going to be a hell of a time.
So the Green Sentinels came about. One of my colleagues in the infantry, who I served with for a couple of years, once he left the military, he decided that he wanted to start a charity called the Green Sentinels. And the reason behind the charity was to help those soldiers who suffered with PTSD and even physical injuries to overcome those problems by getting into outdoor pursuits and getting into expedition racing, as it were. So he started the charity and asked myself to join him. Unfortunately, when we started to get the team together, Stephen himself was struck down by PTSD. He needed to take time out of the team to go and get some rehab and a bit of time to himself to recover. So myself and Ben, we took on the team. We decided to carry on for Stephen's sake. And while the charity itself isn't set up at the moment, once Stephen has recovered, he's going to take back on the charity. So in the meantime, we're racing for our own charities, which are Royal Marsden Cancer Charity, Help for Heroes and Shelter Box. So for the Patagonian Expedition Race, we're using those charities, and hopefully for our future endeavours, as Green Sentinels moves forwards, it will become its own charity, and we'll be using service personnel, veterans, anyone that's served and needs a bit of time in the outdoors to sort of recover and maybe focus on some new goals, and that's the idea really.